She stood frozen in the hotel lobby, staring at the man who had just uttered the words that would change everything. "I can't afford 2 rooms," he had said quietly, his young daughter clinging to his hand. "But you can have the bed. My daughter and I will take the floor." It wasn't what she expected. Not from a stranger, not in this situation, and certainly not with that look of complete sincerity in his tired eyes. If you've ever wondered if genuine kindness still exists in this world, this story might just restore your faith. Before we dive deeper into this unexpected encounter that transformed 2 broken lives, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to catch more stories that remind us of the power of human connection. Mark Jenkins hadn't planned on sharing a hotel room with anyone that night, let alone a complete stranger. 6 months after losing his wife to cancer, the 35-year-old construction worker was barely keeping it together for 7-year-old Emma. The cross-country trip to his late wife's hometown wasn't a vacation. It was a promise he'd made to her before she died. "Take Emma to see the ocean where I grew up," she had whispered during those final days. "Tell her stories about me there." The journey had been more expensive than he'd anticipated. After his car broke down just outside of Charleston, requiring repairs that drained what little remained of his savings, Mark found himself standing at the reception desk of the only hotel with vacancy during the busy summer season. The devastating news of a booking error meant only 1 room remained, a room that had also been promised to someone else. "I'm so sorry, sir," the receptionist explained, her voice strained with genuine regret. "We've had a terrible system error. The same room has been booked twice, and we're completely full otherwise." That's when he first saw her. Olivia Chen, 33, clutching her suitcase with white knuckles, her face a mask of exhaustion and frustration. She wasn't on vacation either. The successful marketing executive had fled her apartment in Boston after discovering her fiancé's betrayal just 3 weeks before their wedding. She needed space, distance, and time to think, not another problem. "There must be another hotel," she said, her voice breaking slightly. "Nothing for 20 miles, ma'am," the receptionist replied. "Not with the festival in town." Mark looked down at Emma, who was leaning against his leg, her eyelids heavy with exhaustion after the long day. He made the offer without thinking twice. "We can share," he said simply. "I can't afford 2 rooms anyway. You can have the bed. My daughter and I will take the floor." Olivia stared at him, searching his face for any hint of impropriety or danger. Instead, she found only kindness and resignation, a man who had clearly weathered storms she couldn't imagine. "That's very kind," she managed to say. "But I couldn't possibly—" "Please," Mark interrupted softly, "it's just for tonight. Emma needs to rest, and I'm guessing you do too." The awkwardness of that first night was palpable. Mark made a makeshift bed of blankets on the floor for himself and Emma, keeping as far from Olivia's side of the room as possible. He spoke little, only answering Emma's questions about when they would see the ocean tomorrow and helping her brush her teeth before bed. Olivia lay awake in the darkness, listening to the gentle breathing of the child and wondering about the man sleeping on the hard floor. There was something in his eyes, a profound sadness that resonated with her own broken heart. Morning came with unexpected sunshine and Emma's excited chatter. "Daddy, can we go to the beach now? You promised." Mark smiled, the first genuine smile Olivia had seen from him. "After breakfast, sweetheart," Olivia found herself offering before she could think better of it. "I could join you, if that's okay. I mean, I don't want to intrude on your day, but—" "You wouldn't be?" Mark said. Simply. "Right, Emma?" The little girl nodded enthusiastically. "Do you like to build sandcastles? I'm really good at it." That day marked the beginning of something neither Mark nor Olivia could have anticipated. As Emma ran along the shoreline collecting shells, Mark finally shared his story about Sarah, his high school sweetheart and wife of 9 years, about her diagnosis, and the 18 months of fighting that followed, about the promise that had brought him to this beach. "She loved it here," he said, watching Emma splash in the shallow waves. "I'm trying to help Emma know her mother through the places she loved." Olivia found herself sharing too, about Thomas, about finding the text messages, about the shame and humiliation that had driven her to flee without a real plan. "I thought I knew what my life would look like," she admitted. Now I have no idea. Mark nodded, understanding in his eyes. That's how it feels. Like you're standing on shifting sand. When the hotel miraculously found another room for Olivia that evening, she felt an unexpected pang of disappointment. The next morning, she found herself waiting in the lobby, hoping to see them again. When Emma spotted her and ran over with excitement, Olivia couldn't help but smile. "We're going to the lighthouse today," Emma announced. "Daddy says Mom used to climb it every summer. Do you want to come?" One day turned into 3, then a week. Olivia extended her hotel stay, calling her office to use vacation days she'd been saving for a honeymoon that would never happen. Something about Mark's quiet strength and Emma's resilience touched a part of her heart she thought had hardened forever. For Mark, Olivia's presence was unexpected balm for a wound that had been raw for too long. She didn't try to replace Sarah in Emma's life. Instead, she listened eagerly to Emma's stories about her mother, encouraging the child to keep those memories alive. And when Emma was asleep, Olivia listened to Mark too, without judgment or platitudes, just quiet understanding. "I don't know how to do this," he confessed one night as they sat on the hotel balcony after Emma had fallen asleep. "How to be both parents, how to help her grow up without Sarah." "You're already doing it," Olivia said softly. "Every day, every moment you choose her needs over your own grief. That's parenting." The day before Mark and Emma were scheduled to return home, a summer storm rolled in, trapping them all in the hotel. Emma was disappointed about missing their final beach day, but Olivia improvised, creating an indoor scavenger hunt throughout the hotel that had Emma giggling with delight that evening as Emma built a blanket fort between the beds. Mark turned to Olivia. "Thank you," he said simply. "This trip was supposed to be about keeping Sarah's memory alive for Emma, but you've helped us both remember how to live in the present too." Olivia felt tears prick her eyes. "I think you've helped me more than I've helped you." The next morning brought goodbye, awkward, emotional, and filled with things unsaid. Emma hugged Olivia fiercely, making her promise to visit them someday. Mark simply held her gaze for a long moment before saying, "Safe travels home." Olivia watched their car pull away, a heaviness settling in her chest. She had 3 more days of her extended vacation, but suddenly the thought of spending them alone felt unbearable. 2 months later, Mark was fixing dinner in his modest home when Emma ran to the window. "Daddy, someone's here!" He wasn't expecting visitors, and the neighborhood didn't get many strangers. Opening the door, he found Olivia standing on his porch, looking both determined and terrified. "I got a job offer," she blurted out. "Here in town. I don't know if that's weird or if I'm overstepping, but I couldn't stop thinking about—" She didn't finish because Emma had launched herself forward, wrapping her arms around Olivia's waist. Over the child's head, Mark's eyes met Olivia's, and the smile that spread across his face told her everything she needed to know. Life doesn't always give us what we expect. Sometimes it takes away the future we thought we wanted and replaces it with something we never could have imagined. For Mark, losing Sarah had been the end of his world, until it wasn't. For Olivia, Thomas's betrayal had seemed like failure, until it became the detour that led her somewhere better. 6 months after that unexpected hotel booking error, Mark proposed to Olivia on the same beach where they'd first truly talked. Emma helped, holding a small box containing not a ring, but a key, to their home, to their lives, to a future none of them had seen coming. "We're not trying to replace what was lost," Mark said, his voice steady despite the emotion in his eyes. "We're building something new, together." Olivia took the key, her hand trembling slightly. "Yes," she whispered, "to all of it. Yes, sometimes the most beautiful stories begin with the most unexpected circumstances. A single dad, 1 hotel room, and a woman who didn't expect his answer. But perhaps the most important part isn't how the story begins, but how it continues, one day at a time, with courage, with honesty, and with hearts open to possibilities that grief and disappointment try to close. If this story touched your heart, remember that second chances are all around us, sometimes disguised as inconveniences, sometimes as strangers who become family. Don't forget to subscribe for more stories that remind us that even in our darkest moments, light finds a way to break through.